Did you head down to Beaufort?
Yes. Amazing.
Is there a drop? There's a drop zone at that small airport right there.
Yep. They just
Okay.
opened, they just moved. Yeah.
Check
Gotta
it out.
go. It is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. I can show you a little bit of the video. I just edited a new one. You haven't seen it. Lots of water, but not deep. It's intimidating, but you just keep reminding yourself that the only deep places are the channels. It's a pretty good opening on that one. All right, so this guy was good. He was a military jumper with a few hundred jumps. And so he was good about
are not necessary to steer a parachute.
yeah. So like after opening, I always say go to this area and I'll mark it on the ground. I want you to open up and use those rears and get there. Don't be dicking with your slider and your chest strap when you're flying downwind. Be bossy. And he did a good job of that. And as a result, we're able to get together relatively
So
quickly.
yeah, there you go. Once you release those brakes, I'll be able to stay with you better.
I've learned not to park up next to them before they unstow their brakes. It kind of freaks them out.
Good. So you got your
So I
chest
stay-
strap loosened?
Yeah, sort of up above them.
Okay, so I'm just gonna stay a little bit above you, just so that we can match rates a little bit.
So if you're the heavier wing loading, this is the place to be.
You're supposed to come up to me.
All right, so watch, he gets on the rears.
There you go. That works.
So he's on a
Good.
Sabre 3
Let's do a 90 right.
190. I'm on a 136.
Go, 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 go. Look at me.
Okay, so you remember that turn? Right, so we didn't switch slots. I'm on the outside of the turn. So I need to maintain speed, stay small, because I've got a longer distance to travel in this right turn. He really wants to be doing a braking turn, holding both brakes and even dropping his legs and getting big in the body position because he doesn't have as far to go. We didn't quite execute that one perfectly well.
That's okay. We're gonna do another 90 right switching slots.
90 right, switching spot.
And go. Flip your head around. Look at me. Good. And let it surge down. Hands up, hands up, hands
Nice.
up, hands up. There you go.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So that's another skill that I think is really important is to get a sense of whether you're rising up in the turn relative to your partner or if you're sinking out. Right. So if you're rising up, you come off the brakes fairly aggressively and stick your feet out and get big, surge the canopy, and you'll unload it a little bit and reduce the angle of attack, and you'll keep diving after the turn. And other times you hold the brakes, and at the end of the turn, you might even shove both brakes for a moment to flatten it out, and then gently lift it up and lift your knees up at the same time and get small. Anticipating.
Cool.
Noticing in the turn.
Add those rear wheels, install it. Install. Go all the way to the
Watch the
stall.
pilot shoot. Boing.
There it is. Hands
Right?
up.
You can really
Hands
see that
up.
it's stalled.
Look at me. 3,600 feet. We're going to do a 90 right. Back towards the drop zone. Go, go, go. Slow it to right. Yep. Switch to my other side. Come to my right side.
Really stretching your neck, right? When you're in tight,
Good.
always trying to figure out where they are.
Try a little bit of front, not to my, not behind me. A little front risers to gain some speed, and then you're going to go to the rears. Yeah, doesn't that work? Little fronts, look at me, and then, hey, nice job.
Right. So could you see that he was behind me, but he wasn't, significantly above. So you wouldn't think to select front risers, right? Because you're on level. But you're not going to be able to drive forward to me unless you gain some speed, right? So you sacrifice a little altitude. You trade the altitude for airspeed initially, and then you efficiently surge horizontally by doing rear risers in small body position. And then you can, boom, end up right next to them. But we do the same thing in tracking. You gain, and then you surge forward. You push it over, you collect a little extra energy, and then you utilize that energy.
Holy crap, right?
Hey, it works.
Yes, it
It
did. You're on a
works.
210 and I'm on a 136. How about that?
Yeah, I was on a Renegade, a 7-cell too.
Yeah, it is.
Of course, the Renegade flies like a 9-cylinder.
Cool. All right, let's do a 180 to the right.
180 to the right.
And go. Separate now. I'm going to let myself.
Renegade's
sit
an
below you.
exceptional parachute.
All right.
And then you can ride a little bit of brakes if you want to.
So I wish I could look at the
Just so we don't
altitude
run
like on
into
Skydive
each
VR,
other.
but I guess I can correlate that data if I collect it.
Let's check here.
Right, so here I'm not even getting in the pattern. I'm like, 2,000 feet, turning into the
All
wind,
right, glide ratio is
Observing glide.
positive.
right? So I see it's positive, and then I try to get sense of,
Pretty good at maybe 1.5 to 1.
right? So I'm
almost 2 to
sizing
1.
it up. That way I'm expecting a specific experience
So
on
I've
the
got
base
something in
leg
the pattern that is
when I turn
a
in.
little bit below me, so I'm gonna speed it on down to half.
All right, so I wanted to get below that
Get
dude. I
below
did some
it.
steep turns. I entered my pre-base leg with a little extra speed, and I had to get rid of it with some extra S turns because of the shoot off. But now I'm set up. There's a little bit of wind, about 12 miles an hour. Just trying to keep it clean. I didn't do any weird high performance stuff. Just trying to demonstrate a nice clean pattern into solid accuracy. And so this is the other view, so you can see kind of what I was doing. Now on this one, I made the turn. I realized I was a little bit low. Brakes weren't doing it. I went to the rears, see it on the rears, just for a moment. So going to the rears at 100 feet is very useful if you're coming up short of your target, but you also need enough airspeed that it's not going to surge when you get on. So right now I got a lot of speed, right? So the faster you're flying, the less surgible your parachute is. It doesn't want to dive when you get off of tail input, right? Brakes or rears or tail input. So if I'm going fast, like coming out of this 90-degree, coordinated harness toggle turn, I felt very confident that I could go to the rears and come off of them quickly and have no surge at all. And that's what happened. Whereas if I was in slower flight and I went maybe deeper into the rears for a longer period of time, that could be problematic in the recovery if I was low. I can surge into the ground or at least surge into line slack that results in not being able to get a significant flare out of the cannon.
So that's just to change your angle of attack,
Yeah,
very briefly.
Yeah.
To carry you further.
right, exactly.
I said, woohoo!
Because brakes wouldn't do it. I'm flying into a headwind. Oh,
You
and
got
this
this, girl.
was one of the best moments of the year. 30 jumps.
That's what I'm talking about.
19 years old.
Woo! You can hear
Nice.
the crowd in the
She was
distance.
very 19-year-old girl.